let's talk about Avatar, The Last Airbender. So there's a bunch of stuff we need to get through. So number one, that's a wrap for season 2. The time for Sozin's Comet draws near. Avatar, The Last Airbender season 3 is now in production.
Hey guys, just wrapped season 2. This is awesome. I'm so grateful. Hey, Money here. What are you doing? I'm shooting.
He's bald.
2? Yep. I think there's a little more.
That's a wrap on season 2.
There it is. There it is. So season 3, they're getting started already. Is this true? Huh? I don't think there's been a formal confirmation that it's actually coming 2026. I don't know about that. But yeah, season 3 is now in production. Remember that they're shooting back to back, so this is happening right away. Who is Toph? Toph is right here. Right here. This is Toph. Let's start going through this because there's a bunch of stuff. So this is another funny goofy picture. Funny goofy. The biggest thing is obviously all of this casting, right? I think a bunch of different people posted this, but this right here. There's a bunch of interesting stuff that is revealed here. This is book 3. Well, I mean, theoretically, I guess book 2 as well. But Zhang is right here. So you might remember that the YouTuber by the name of Koroto's Mystery Shack made a very, very angry video a while ago, talking about Zhang right here. I made this video because Zhang wasn't in the live action version right here a year ago. I was big mad. Well, now Zhang is gonna be included. And I'm like, huh? How are they gonna do this? Because, like, the whole thing about Aang firebending before doing any of the other elements was kind of just to have a message, you know, about different aspects of fire and how, like, it can be dangerous and stuff. So if he's already gonna do waterbending and then he's gonna start firebending, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. That does change the dynamic a little bit, but I mean, hey, it can make sense. I just don't know when this could even happen, realistically. Because, like, book 2 is so packed, and if it happens in book 3, that's way too late. So, I don't know. This is Sokka's master, this is Hama, which, by the way, means the bloodbending episode is in as well. There was, this was a while ago. So, we know that, what's her name? Jin. Jin is also confirmed as cast. So, we can now 100% predict that there will be a thing of Zhang is in, the bloodbending episode is in, and Tales of Ba Sing Se is in as well. How will they look? We don't know. And also Ursa might have an expanded role in some capacity because really, I think they're probably going to do a little bit more with her because she appears in, like, what, Zuko alone and a few of the flashbacks. I think they're probably going to expand a teeny bit more on her character, if I had to guess. Yang Chen is also interesting, the fact that he's here. Zhang's going to be in the Fire Nation? I hope not, because that's way too late. If Zhang is in book 3, that's way too late. Unless Zhang is a master for Zuko. If Zhang somehow ends up being a master for Zuko, that could be potentially interesting. But if he's a master for Aang, that would be... I think it's way too late. Because Aang being afraid of firebending, again, if only there was a person by the name of Koroto's Mystery Shack who made a whole video talking about the Avatar state and what role firebending plays to the Avatar state. Because the firebending as a concept is really representative of rage for Aang. At least that's how I read it. Because it's kind of like letting himself off the leash, you know? Whereas the other elements, he was always in control. With fire, he's not in control in the same way that he's not in control of the Avatar state. So if only there was a person who made videos about these things. Maybe they're pushing the General Zhao with Zhang to Zuko. Maybe. The Zhang role is gonna be odd, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm just happy that he's gonna be in because I think, like, the different perspectives on bending that we see from different characters. That's, like, one of my favorite things about Avatar, really, because he had a fundamentally different philosophy on the element. And when we see different philosophies on the same element, I think it just adds a lot of depth to the world. Because, like, it's not just fire bad, you know. And also this character, Faye, this is a new character. This is the same thing that happened with Suki's mom. I've got no idea who this could be. People were theorizing that maybe they're going to do some kind of switch up for the guru and stuff, and maybe there's someone else who they're switching up as well. But I don't know. I don't know. Avatar will finish season 3, or will they continue expanding Aang's story, or go straight to Korra? I think it's really, really going to depend on how season 2 and 3 goes. Like, the fact that they greenlit both seasons at the same time, I think they're just trying to get an idea of how the whole thing is going to look. Like, realistically, I wouldn't make a bet about anything beyond book 3. Because, like, if people don't like book 2, book 3 is already going to be kind of, like, they're obviously going to put it out, but book 3 is already going to be, like, kind of a write-off. Because book 1 landed with very mixed reviews. So book 2 is kind of the one where they need to lock in and really fix it up. I've said this before though, like, if there is anywhere they're gonna wrap it, fix it up, it's gonna be book 2. Because, like, episodes like Zuko alone, they're practically made for TV. So I just don't see how book 2 can be worse than book 1. I just can't imagine a world where that is the case. How many episodes will it have? There have been rumors. There have been lots and lots of rumors flying around. I don't know which one of them is true. There hasn't been a formal confirmation at all. At least not that I remember. So I would assume the usual 7-8 is what I would assume. This was very funny, by the way. Between Avatar Studios and their time working on the Netflix series, we've heard them say this exact answer every year since 2018 rather. So this is basically like we're cooking stuff up, but we're working on stuff, right? If Mike's 1,000-yard stare is anything to go by, it's probably going to be the only answer we'll have for a very long time. Who knew GTA 6 would be revealed and released in a shorter amount of time than Avatar Studios? Being an Avatar fan recently, because I remember waking up and seeing Avatar Studios announced, and I was like, oh my god, we are so back. Like, we are so back. And well, I mean, here we are in 2025. They'll touch on the precursor for the Search comic on the end. I wouldn't want them to really touch on any of the comic stuff, personally. I think the ending of the original story is such a perfect bookend. Just don't touch it. Literally, just end it the same way. I'm gonna be totally real with you. If I was working with Netflix, I would literally tell them replicate it 1-to-1. Is what I would do. I would just say make everything the same. Like, we gotta get a W with this. Just make everything the same and they'll like it. Make it the same. Just do it in live action and they'll like it. But I don't know. With the ending stuff, like, I would prefer if they just left it the way it is and not really touch on any of the later lore. Because the later lore is messy. Everything from the comics and everything from the novels, it gets super messy, and I don't even know what the canon is anymore. There's an Avatar video, I'm probably going to put it up tomorrow, because it's done. And I talk about it there, too. Like, the stuff with lightning bending and lightning redirection, there's a bunch of, like, really weird plot hole-y, retcon-y details in the Roku novel. So, because they did bring in some stuff from the novels with book 1, and I think those changes are mostly cool. But I wish they're careful with it. Rumors that the last season of Stranger Things, I did see that, yeah, I did see that. I would expect that Stranger Things probably plays a pretty big role in when Avatar and when One Piece is going to come out. Is what I would assume. Because it's such a big thing for Netflix, I don't think they would want to... Like, they just want to squeeze multiple months out of you in terms of subscriptions. But I don't think it's going to have a big impact on Avatar, because Avatar is going to be in production for a while, book 2, I think. Post-production, I guess, not production. We got GTA 6 before a new Avatar project. Scary to think about. A bit scary to think about. But I mean, yeah, I think the biggest thing about this is the fact that they're going to bring in Zhang Zhang for me. That's honestly like my biggest thing. Because cutting Zhang Zhang, it made me so mad. I want to see Zhang Zhang. I want to see him at the end of the series doing his cool firewalls. I'm happy about this. Everything else about this is not super surprising to me. People were saying that maybe the bloodbending episode was going to be cut. Like, realistically, I don't think the bloodbending episode would be cut because it's really interesting commentary on the world. You know, how there's also waterbenders who are really, really bad. So that, realistically, I didn't expect to be cut. It would be interesting to see what they do with Yang Chen, though. Because I don't think it would be just a flashback. There were also I saw people making theories that Yang Chen might actually be the one replacing the Guru. right? Because in the original series, maybe I can bring up a picture of it real quick. In the original series, the whole thing happens by like a Yang Chen statue, right? Google doesn't have any specific screenshots, unfortunately. But they're sitting by a Yang Chen statue. Or at least what looks like a Yang Chen statue, right here. So people were theorizing that maybe the guru could actually be completely replaced by Yang Chen. And he could just be talking to a past life. If this continues, we'll be able to play the new avatar in your brain directly. Maybe, I mean, by the time we're going to get the first avatar project, we're going to have BCIs, maybe. I'm not that excited about any of this. Season 1 was so mid. I know people were super mixed on like, this whole thing, but, like, I'm gonna give it a shot. Like, I think Book 1 was good enough for me to want to see Book 2. And Book 2 has so many bangers, they just can't mess it up. Like, if they literally change nothing about Book 2, it would already be better than Book 1. There are so many easy W's for them in Book 2. The entire Toph introduction is like the easiest W of all time. Aang using the Avatar state and messing stuff up, easiest W of all time. Tales of Ba Sing Se, I mean, come on. It's infinitely easier to tell a touching story with a real person than it is in animation. There are just so many easy W's that they could get. It's wild to me. I think Season 1 was okay. I know people hate it, I didn't hate it. I do think they prioritize spectacle and like weird fan servicey things over telling an actual cohesive story. But beyond that, I thought it was okay. One Piece has more episodes than Avatar, yet the live action version is better paced than One Piece. I agree with you. I 100% agree with you, and I don't understand how this was a thing. I actually think I know why this is the case. Because it's actually not like necessarily true. The story of One Piece in Season 1 is a like One Piece from the very start, it's a cohesive story with a single underlying narrative, right? There are distinct arcs, but all the arcs are already fitted together. The Book 1 of Avatar, it's Adventure of the Week. So if you want to tie them together, it takes a lot more work. So I think that is the underlying reason why Book 1 was so messy. That is not a issue with Book 2. Book 2 doesn't have any Adventure of the Week. Book 2 is just one story. Book 2 begins with mastering the Avatar state and ends with mastering the Avatar state. All of Book 2 is the same thing. There is no like, we're gonna pop out and do something random. Now there are like self-encompassed episodes, but it's not Adventure of the Week. Book 2, again, should be easier. Until they mess it up, for example, Death Note. I don't think you're ever going to see something as bad as Death Note from Netflix ever again. I think they learned their lesson with Death Note and later also Cowboy Bebop. I think they realized that people literally just want to see the stuff they like done again. Because I think like, in the West, I've talked about this in videos before, so I promise I'm not going to go on a tangent. With a lot of Western audiences, and this is not the case, I feel like, with Japan at all. Because, like, anime is literally replicating manga one-to-one. Like, anime's whole thing is that it's literally one-to-one. Whereas in the West, people ask, like, if the comic exists, why make a show? If the book exists, why make a show? We want new things, right? But at the same time, that's also not even true, because when you adapt something and you change a lot of it, Western audiences scream and shout that it was bad. So I think Netflix wanted to strike like this middle road where they took this like beloved IP and they kind of tried making it into something new. And no one really liked it. And I think they tried this a few times until they did One Piece. And One Piece is mostly faithful to the source material. And that is their single biggest W. I mean, if you are anyone making decisions for Netflix, it sends like the clearest signal imaginable. So, Book 2 and Book 3 is so perfect. One of the few animated shows that is as tightly written as Attack on Titan with only a little amount of episodes that feels like filler. Yep. Like, Book 3 even more so. Like, Book 3 is completely linear. There's like a few side adventures, but all of Book 3 is the same thing. It's leading up to the Day of Black Sun and then eventually to Sozin's Comet, right? It's told in like 2 big blocks. But Book 2 is just a single cohesive story. So like I said, I'm excited for it. I'm glad that Zhang is back in, and we'll have to wait and see what happens with it. But like, it's gonna happen regardless. So of course I'm gonna tune in and watch it. Of course I'll check it out. Why wouldn't I? I am the Avatar guy. I will watch anything with the Avatar name. I'm not gonna lie. Nightmares and Daydreams for book 2 and 3. I mean, you could argue that, like, the Painted Lady is fillery. Tales of Ba Sing Se is also fillery by definition. There's a bunch of episodes you could argue is, like, fillery or not fillery, but, like, it's obviously infinitely easier to adapt than book 1.